welcome to another video. Y'all, I am so excited to announce we hit our first milestone. Oh my God, if you're watching this, we have 1,000. We hit 1,000 I'm so excited. Now we got a little over 1,000 now. I think the last time I looked at it, it was like it was way over 1,000, but I can't remember the exact number. I'll put it across because by the time I record this and edit this, I'm pretty sure it'll move, so I'll put the updated number. So I said once we hit that milestone that I will do a marathon, a Storytime marathon. And you might ask yourself, what is a Storytime marathon? That's when I give you story times back to back. Because if you're new here, you know I do all types of videos. I do store finds, I do girl talk. What else we do, y'all? Let's talk about it. I do Barbie finds, I do men talk, parent talks. We do a whole bunch of chatting here. And so I also do story times, and let me see, what else do? We do a lot of stuff. Now, a new series that I do, I'm have 2 different new series that I do have coming up. And I want to do a cooking series where I show y'all how to cook small meals that are fast, like that you can cook for your family. Because me, y'all, let me just tell you, I'm very good at cooking. I hate it though. Can I be honest with you? The Zora don't like to be in the kitchen sweating, okay? So I will show y'all I'm cooking with Barbie, okay? Cooking with Barbie. Shout out to the girl that went viral for that. Cooking with what is it? Kyra. Cooking with Kyra. But anyway, that's where I got it from. So I don't think I just made it up. Anyway, I'm gonna do one called Cooking with Barbie. I'm also gonna start doing more makeup tutorials, because most of the time, every time I do my makeup, I'm doing it for, the channel. But I think I want to do different looks, like do a simple beat with me or different things like that for your regular girl that might, they're not a beauty queen, but baby, they just want to know how to do the basic makeup, okay? And then we can get into some glam looks as well. But anyway, I want to do Cooking with Barbie, and I want to do like this stuff, like how if you watch my shorts, if I find something, I try it. And so I'm not sure what I'm gonna name it yet, but I want to go to like stores and like, how if you go in a store and you're shopping, right? Or I go in a store and I'm shopping. You will see something new on about, maybe a little dedicated that say new, or you'll see new chips and stuff like that. So I want to call it Let's Try It. But I'm gonna come up with probably something a little bit more kitchen. But I'm gonna start that series where we go in the store and we find some new items. We find 4 new items, and then I come home and we try it together. So I think that's going to be a nice little series, but I'm still working on the title for that one. I know exactly what I was calling it. Let's eat. So that series is coming. So anytime, y'all, when I do a lot of the vlogs, the days of my life as well, when I feel like it's going to be an interesting day, or we go somewhere, me and my kids go somewhere, or I go somewhere that I think is a little different, we're going to do the vlogs. But anyway, I do it all, baby. If I come up with a neat idea, I'm going to tackle it. So y'all stay tuned and y'all keep viewing. Anyway, if you're new here, my name is Barbie Dior, and I'm so happy that y'all click play. Welcome. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and go ahead and drop me some hearts in the comments, y'all. Let's get into it. So the name of this story time, y'all, and again, like I said, because we hit that milestone, I just want to go back. Because I know I'm just all over the place, but I promise this story gonna make good sense. So anytime we hit a channel milestone, and I went over in our last video about Let's Catch Up or whatever, when I discussed the channel updates or whatever, I discussed the milestones. But anytime we reach a milestone, then I will do a marathon. Now, you can offer suggestions, like if you see certain videos that you like to tune in and watch, whether it be story time, y'all can comment and say, hey, for the next marathon, can you do this set of videos? And that's what we'll do. But it'll be the same type of video, but of course it's different, So if it's story times, it's different story times. Store finds is different stores and stuff like that. that. But y'all can comment and offer suggestions on what y'all want to do. But if nobody comments and offers suggestions, I would just do a marathon or not store finds, but story time. So this line of marathon, I will go ahead preview y'all, okay? This story time is called Prison Love. The next story time is going to be, and all of this is from the prison series, okay? So if you have not been watching the prison series, you need to go and watch all of those so you can be caught up. Now, one thing I will say, I am jumping all over the places as far as when I say the time frame, because some of these stories I'll tell you from the beginning when I was first officer, and then some of these stories is when I'm a seasoned officer. So that's the only way we jumping from timestamp to timestamp, because I can't remember everything that happened in order, but I do remember what happened. Okay, so in this marathon we'll have 5 story times back to back. So we got Prison Love, we got Dirty Officer, we got Respect is Everything, and we got Cold Blue, and we got I Will Kill You. Period. So that is the lineup we got. But anyway, I'm so happy we reached those milestones. Thank you to my bestie gang for helping us, and for everybody that click play and watch, okay? And make sure y'all watching these videos all the way until it says thank you for watching, okay? Because that's how we're going to get the So anyway, my son is here, and y'all, I'm trying to record, and he keep coming in and out. Because as y'all see, I'm in my room by my closet door. My closet door, those ones that watch my Days of Life know where I'm at. And no, I've never recorded, but I watched the last 2 story times that I watched. I seen some of my content creators, some of my favorite record by the closet door. So I said, you know what? Today we're going to sit by the closet, okay? We're going to see if I like this angle when I start editing and stuff like that. And if I like it, we might get some more closet, hey, we might get some more closet. We'll see, y'all, because I already see a spot I should have had, I got a 2-year-old that look like popsicle juice. We don't know. But anyway, focus on me, yours. So basically, once I edit this, if I like this setup, we'll do some more here. But if not, I'm playing with different locations in the house. Y'all seen y'all been on the couch lately. Before we used to record at the table. So we're playing with different stuff, because I want to give y'all different feels sometimes or whatever. But anyway, let's jump into this story time, okay? And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, and make sure y'all comment throughout the video, because it be a few, but you gotta participate a little bit. Now, if you're a silent watcher, that's okay. You ain't gotta say nothing, but hit a heart in the comment, baby. You ain't gotta say nothing. You ain't gotta keep being silent. But I just love when you watch. Let's get into it. Sometimes, y'all, when I look, I have to look at my notes, y'all, because I did this many a time where I'll write a story time down, but I'll tell a whole nother story time based upon the title, and it won't what I was trying to tell y'all, okay? Okay, so locked it in. Let's get into it. So at this time, I was pretty new. I was new. Going back to my new. Let's say I have been at the prison for about, we'll say I've been at the prison for about 10 months at this time, okay? So I'm new, but I'm not new. I'm not 12 months in yet. I'm not even off of probation, because the probation period is 12 months. And I'm still on probation, baby. At any time, they could be like, you could go. You can go. But I'm still 10 months in, but I'm learning. Really, when you've been working at the prison, around about 6 months, you really kind of know your job for the most thing, because everything you do for the most part is the same. But every day brings new challenges, because you don't know what the inmates gonna do. If they're gonna be all friendly and nice today, or they're gonna try to kill each other. So as a correctional case, at this time, this story time, I was a correctional, not a case manager yet. I was an officer. So sometimes when I'm telling these stories, sometimes I'm a case manager and sometimes I'm not, because I started off as an officer and I graduated to, I left and came back and I graduated into a correctional case manager. So anywho, I will, when I tell these stories, if I'm a case manager or correctional officer, I'll let you know. So at the time, I'm a correctional officer, okay? 10 months in. So I was learning a lot of things. I was not scared to walk around no more. The fear won't in my heart, but I was still cautious, and you should be. The moment you lose that cautiousness, and you done messed up, sis. Okay, if you're in a prison, that should let you know all together. Hey, I might be to be tread a little lightly, because you never know what's going to happen in a prison. You never know who plotting, what plan. While you came in here to plan, I'ma just work this shift and go home. They might plan, when you come in here, we gonna give her hell. You never know what was going on. That's why you should have to stay prayed up and make sure you paying attention to everything. But at the time, we had some new inmates come in. So let's say we had 15 new inmates come to the unit, and they walked up on the unit or whatever. And as the officers on the floor, we have to tell them where they have to go. They give us a list of who going where and what. We go in, make sure the rooms that they're supposed to go to has everything that they're supposed to have. So most of the rooms, they come with a little sink. They come with a little mattress. And I think they're supposed to have... Yeah, I think that's it. It's a sink and a mattress. We had to make sure that they had that, as well as covers for the bed and stuff like that, and a pillowcase and a pillow. And that's it. That's all came with the room and nails. And so we had to go check the rooms before they moved in or whatever. And then we will walk them to their rooms, like each officer. So maybe let's say if it's 3 officers available at the time, we'll walk them to the room, make sure they get in their room, make sure they have cleaning stuff so they can clean the room before they go in there. Because all the rooms are clean, but if you're moving in, just like if you're moving your home, we expect that you would clean up the house because somebody else been there if you rented it out. But this ain't that. This is prison. They moved in. We gave them sprays. They spray their room. They wipe things down. They get to clean their stuff. And then before we exit, we make sure everything is locked back into a closet. And sometimes we will leave it out, just depending on how many. Because sometimes we're a little bit, sometimes a lot. Like I said, 15 inmates moved in. We had like maybe 8 move in this particular pod I was in, so I was making sure that everybody had everything they need. And so in this particular pod, or this set of inmates, there was an inmate named Dream. And most of the people, like when you come through, you go read, once they come on the unit, you kind of figure out what their name is. And you try to, as an officer, you try to remember these people's names. But like I said, it's a lot of inmates on the unit, okay? It's close to 200 inmates on one unit. And it's you yourself. Like, it's one me and it's 200 y'all. And sometimes it's hard to remember everybody's name. But a lot of the times you remember certain people's nicknames. Because me, if you came to the unit, I would give you a nickname because I could not remember all those names. Now, or they had like nicknames already. Now, they will tell you by policy, you're not supposed to call them nicknames. But if most people would call them by their nickname, like if it was something like Killer, no, we ain't finna call you that. No, we're not. But for the most part, if this is what this person go by, I just think some people just was like, well, that's what they go by, so you just call them that. And if you keep hearing the name over and over and over and over and over and over, or let's say if the inmate get into something or something like, and you hear the name or whatever, if you're around them all the time and you hear the name, it's just like this. If I tell y'all my name is Barbie, hey, I'm Barbie Dior, y'all gonna be, okay, that's Barbie. The same thing with learning the inmates. We say, when we see him. So I would hear, I would hear him like, what's up, Dream? How you doing? Woo, woo, woo. So this particular inmate, I'm walking him to his cell, making sure, because when I walked them to the room, I want to make sure they had everything. So they won't lie, because some people are lie because they trying to get double mattresses and you ain't supposed to have it unless you got some kind of order from the doctor, and they want double pillows. So they'll be like, I ain't got no pillow, and they do got a pillow. So I would walk them to the room to make sure the stuff is in there, because sometimes the inmates will go in and steal the stuff too as well, if the room was vacant. So I will walk in this particular inmate to the room, and he was like, what's your name? Now, all of us have name tags on, and Baker was across my chest. And I'm like, I'm Officer Baker. He was like, okay, well, I'm Dream. Nice to meet you. And I was like, okay, Dream. I don't know if you're supposed to say welcome to prison, but welcome to Green Unit C-Pod, okay? And so he was like, yeah. I was like, how long you been in prison? Since he, out of the whole group, everybody just was looking at everybody. They weren't really friendly. He was the only one out of the 15 that started talking to, because it was me and 3 other females and 1 male officer. And he talked to all of us. And I thought, like, he's very friendly. Most inmates just look at you like you're crazy when they first come in, because they don't know what to think of you, okay? But he was friendly, he wanted to talk and show you all his teeth. Now, if I was to describe Dream, to the particular, for most people, or for me, I would say that I was very attracted to Dream. No, I was not no dirty officer. This is not going to be a storyline with me doing nothing for him because I think he's sexy. But I thought he was very attractive. And I thought, you know, he was light skinned. He had dreads. He had little pink little lips on him. He had a swag to him. You know, it was something different about him. He talked like he had a little education on him. It was something about him. So I was just like, yep, dear Lord, you see this young man walking here. And that didn't happen a lot. You know, most of the inmates, you know, they talk to you, they breath stink, they missing teeth. You know, it didn't happen that often that I'd be like, oh, this man fine. And in my head, I was thinking like, yeah, he's very attractive. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from him, okay? Because I want my joy, okay? I ain't got time, okay? So, anyway, he was one of those pretty boys that realized he was pretty. And he was used to people treating him a certain type of way. No matter where he was in prison or not, he was used to it. And if you're a pretty girl like me, you kind of used to people treating you a little certain way too. So I kind of felt like how he was feeling like. So that's why he was in there like with the attitude like, hey, how you doing, talking to us? Like we was something that he could get hold to because he was not being used to treated like an inmate because I guess how he looked. And so he was very friendly and stuff like that. And so he was asking us about some of the rules. What are the rules? When can they get on the phone? Do they let him out? He asking all this stuff, like the rules of the stuff. Like, but anybody know that work there, we got our set of rules, and then the inmates got their own set of rules. So you might say, this is the rules to XYZ, and then that door shut behind you. The inmates was like, fuck what she said. This is what we do in here. And so different rules to the law and the land, you know. I mean, they can report it, but hey, they live in there. You know what I'm saying? We can only, you know, be in charge of what we see. Like we see that you bullying somebody, we can correct it. If we see, for the most part, they're not gonna say, hi, Miss Baker, Officer Baker, we're being bullied. They won't let us use the phone. No, they're not gonna tell you. You're not gonna figure out something happening until something big happen, okay? Or unless you're paying attention. So anyway, like I was saying, Mr. Dream or Inmate Dream, he was very attractive, but at the same time, I was a professional officer. I didn't let it on, but I did see some of the other officers doing a little bit too much smiling for me. Girl, did you see that? Girl, did you see that inmate that I let in here? And I remember having conversations like I'm walking in the hall to go use the bathroom, and then like 3 of the other officers were with me. Damn, he fine as hell, boy. Now these are thoughts that I thought on the inside of me, and I thought, yeah, I wouldn't been bold enough to say that out loud, but that nigga fine, he's sexy as fuck. Oh my God. Like, yeah, they ran all that. And I was like, yep, but he's an inmate. He's an in clap, clap. Can't do nothing for you, locked up. According to his report, he has 6 more years. You're gonna do that with him? Like, they were talking like he was a dude that you just saw go in a grocery store. Like, if we were to be an officer, it got to be some type of professionalism, you know. And then my thing is, there was other inmates in the hallways when they were saying this. So you think they're not gonna go back and tell Mr. Dream that the officers think you fine as fuck, and he ain't gonna use that or try to use that as advantage? And they was like, Baker, what you think? I'm like, he all right, you know what I'm saying? Typical dreadhead. He's all right. Whole time thinking like, yep, if he was a free man. If he was a free man. But anyway, so Mr. Dream, he fit in very well, you know. He was very crafty. Dream could braid people's hair. He was very, very good at braiding hair. Now, the inmates was not allowed to do hair, but if you looked up, people's hair was braided. So some staff allowed them to do each other's head, but sometimes they wouldn't let them do it because it was looked as like gambling was not allowed, but gambling happened in the prison. So they looked at it, gamble, like people would gamble for you to do your hair. Like, for example, people would be basically tell you, okay, I'll pay you X, Y, and Z, $100, a pack of cheese, this, that, and the third, so you can do my hair. But let's say if they're offering them that and then they go do them a service, and let's say something, their cart canteen don't click because their girlfriend, baby mama, wife, little cousin or something don't send them the money. So they done told you, I'm going to give you X, Y, and Z. And then fights will happen. Violent fights will happen because you owe me. Just like if you owe me money on the street, you owe me because I done braided your hair. And one thing I would say about the braiding in there, baby, them men was skilled. When I tell, they can write your name in your head. Like, I seen so many pretty braids. I'm talking about braids, like just was pretty. They had people's names in it, and all that stuff was not supposed to go down. But now I tell you, see about somebody walk around, they got it in, and it just depends on who worked, who allowed what. Because on our shift and rotation, we didn't play that. If we saw somebody playing their hair, that's what we call it. Y'all know y'all can't do that. Then we'll leave and we come back. The other shift, they don't let them do everything. So it was a never winning battle, you know, and to the point where I would see people do their hair and I'd be like, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, you know. And then to the point where if the people in charge don't care, why should I? You know what I'm saying? It's just hair braiding. Like, why should I? You know, you had to weigh your options, because everything just won't worth it. You know, it won't worth it getting into it with them, okay? And who don't want to walk around with their head not done? Like, most people really want to, you know, me, I could just say for me, if I could have somebody to braid, if I'm locked up and I could have somebody braid my hair and make me look good, making me feel good, then I would want somebody to braid my hair. So I just thought, I'm not going to keep giving these men a hard time about no hair, no point rolls for real, okay? So, anyway, Mr. Dream had the dreads or whatever, so he was like, who do the best dreads here? And I was like, you know, he walked up to us and was talking to us. Anytime the females were coming there, which is us, the officers are coming there, he'll walk up to us and ask a question or whatever. But I remember he walked up to me, I came in there and did a round, and he was like, who do the best dreads in here? And there was, I used to call him a shim, okay? Please nobody get offended. If you are watching me or you're in front of the trans community or something like that, but that's what we used to call them, okay? I used to call them a shim because they were men to me that were acting as females or acting like females. So that's what we used to call them, shims, okay? So very flamboyant. His name was... I'm gonna say his nickname. His nickname was Teeny, okay? So Teeny was a bald-headed man, okay? But in his head, he had Beyonce hair, okay? Because every time he talked, every time he talked, he did that number there. And he had a shirt. He used to wrap around a shirt around his head, and so that this part can hang long, and he'll be flicking it. And then like he would get different things and tear like different, like the bed sheets up and whatever, and actually do cornrows, so he would have long braids. Or he would strip the bed sheets up so it kind of looked like he had bonus. Like, he was very creative. He used to use the candy to do his makeup. Very creative. I did not know you could do your makeup with Skittles, but you can, okay? I'm talking about lips be on red, okay? Lip, you know, eyeshadow be on point. And then he used all I know is the young man, every time I seen Tiny, eyebrows fleety. The only thing he didn't have was eyelashes in him. That's the only thing. Everything else, you know, he had down to the T, okay? So, he was very fluent. Flamboyant, or you know, yes, or okay, I see you, Miss Baker. I like your earrings, girl. Oh, you looking good. Yes. Every time you see him, it was all of that. Okay, so most of the correctional officers, I will say, we were very stylish. Even though we had on the outfit or the uniform or whatever, our hair was tea. Most of all the correctional officers, it was a very few every now and then, but for the most part, hair was laid. I know for me, hair was always laid, okay? Now, every now and then I came in there with a ponytail, but for the most part, my hair was slayed. It had nothing to do with trying to look good for no officers. If y'all been watching this channel for a long time, or you just click through the video, my hair is gonna be done for the most part. And depending on how I feel, that's how it's gonna look, okay? So anyway, and I'm a girl. I'm a girl's girl. I keep she hair done. So anywho, I just threw this on, so don't judge me about this. But anyway, so for the most part, you know, he liked it. When Teeny saw you, he gonna give you your praise. He gonna let you know that you did that, okay? And so he would always talk. And I remember I always had lashes. I always have lashes and lip gloss on. I did not wear any makeup. And when I would go to the prison, I would always wear And really, I didn't wear any makeup because I was not doing my makeup at the time. You know, I had a makeup artist that if I went somewhere, I would get my makeup done, but I won't wear makeup in the prison. If I work there now, yeah, I would wear makeup because this is who I am. I'm not changing who I am because y'all decided to get locked up. No, we're not doing that. If I came in there, now I don't think I would do bold looks, but I definitely would have a light shadow on, little foundation, okay? A hint of lip gloss, just a hint, not too much, because you don't want to cause attention to yourself. But for the most part, you know, I had a little lip gloss on, I had the lashes on, and I had my hair done real pretty almost all the time. And so he'll be like, yes, come through with them lashes, girl, come through with them lashes. And he will always joke, when you get tired of them, just throw them on the floor. Just throw them on the floor, girl. I need him. Just throw them on the floor, baby. And that was, he would always say that to me. When you done with them, just throw them on the floor. Okay? Do that for a teeny girl. Do that for a teeny girl. And so that was just him. But to be honest, everybody loved it, Teeny, because Teeny had the tea. Anything that was going on in the prison, Teeny had the freaking tea. He knew about everything. He knew about officers, doing it with officers. He knew about everything because officers were being unprofessional and telling or talking around him, or anyway, they were messing with him. He knew about what officer was messing with what inmate, what captain was messing with what correctional officer. He knew the tea on everything, and all his tea was hot, okay? Anytime he would talk about something, it would not be no lie to it, okay? And so, Teeny just always had the tea. And he would spill the tea, like if you do a round, girl, I heard it such and such this weekend got in a fight with such and such, and woo. I'm thinking like, how do he know all this stuff if he inside here? And he know what happened at the club last Friday. And he would know. He would know. So the tea was given, he would you sipped it, it was right every time, okay? So you will go around and be like, girl, I heard, and then see, if he tell me, girl, I heard such and such and such, I'll be like, I don't know nothing about that. Club? Who go to the club on the weekend? That's where you go serve the Lord. Whole time I'm in there, right in the club with them, know what he talking about, trying to act like I don't know nothing. So anyway, in this pile with Dream, Tiny was in there, and see, Tiny, a lot of the people, you know, a lot of them males, you know, they would act like they would be so upset that there was somebody in the pod that act like Tiny, like was very flammable. And Tiny was a handful. He was so extra, y'all. He would walk all upstairs with his because there was the 4 showers in the pod, okay? So it was 2 up top and it was 2 on the bottom. And he would go all upstairs, have his towel on. Instead of just taking that stuff in there with him, no, he would have his towel wrapped around his body already. And he would go upstairs, because he wanted people to look at him, okay? So he would go upstairs, take his shower, but before you know it, anytime you had a flamboyant or you have somebody that was like that in there, it showed who was who, okay? It showed you who was straight and who won't straight, okay? So all you had to do was watch it, because before you know it, okay, if you watch his door, people will leave snacks for him all the time. They would leave different little gifts for him all the time. Because Teeny was doing things, okay? If he didn't have no boyfriend or whatever, and you knew if he had a boyfriend or not based upon whether he wore, like, the jewelry. Like, some of the inmates had, like, necklaces. I might have missed that word all up, but they had necklaces. Or they had something that you knew was from them. Maybe they had a watch or something like that. And then all of a sudden, you will see Tiny having that necklace on. So they'll tell all the other inmates that he belonged to that particular man, okay? And so when Dream came in the pod, Teeny was being extra. And I'm thinking like, Teeny was already in there before Dream came in there. But I noticed he used to be all extra, like he was doing a lot of stuff to get his attention. And so every time we go in the pod, Dream would get mad, like, man, can you take these fuck niggas out of here? Like, why is they in the pod with us, okay? This is a gang unit. Why they even own this unit? They need their own unit. And he used to get mad all the time. So ladies, if you got a man that every time a man come around and they gay, okay, they're out, you know, gay and lavish, everything, and they're overly upset because they entered the facility, it's because they gay, okay? Okay, sis, you got one on your hand. Okay, you got one, and he is bothering his inside. Just like if you will see, if a man was a straight man, would see a fine female and be like, God, y'all see her? She fine. It's the same thing. If they see a male that's, hey, yes, oh my God, oh yeah, and you know they fumble, and then they get mad. Like, what the fuck, nigga? And they doing all that. They gay, baby. They gay. If you ever see somebody and then you might be sitting beside your man right now watching this, and you be like, dog, he do this all the time and stuff like that. That bitch don't know what she talking about. If he called me a bitch, he gay, sis. If he called me a bitch, he gay, sis. I done called him out, okay? I don't call him out. Ring, pick up the phone, nigga. Anyway, I don't know who watched this video, but sometimes I say the N-word sometimes, okay? Because, you know, this is how the black community talks sometimes, okay? I don't mean no harm. Please don't you say it, okay? Love you, bye. Anyway, let's get back to the story. So, Dream was one of those dudes, like, every time he do something, I'm thinking like, why he get? And I was used to dudes acting like that because a lot of people would get upset about them being in there because they just supposed to be straight men, and this was bothering them for whatever. And I'm thinking like, if somebody living a life, you know, why you worrying about them living a life? If they ain't bothering you, this man won't coming up to people like, hey, daddy. He won't coming up there like that. He was just living his life, okay? So anyway, he would do that a lot of the time. So I just would notice that. So anyway, like I said in the other video, they'll have yard call. And when the yard call is basically once the officer to go outside, check the yard, this is when the inmates can go outside. And they'll call yard call, and sometimes I will go outside. It'd be different officers pick to go on the yard, right? And so sometimes when they call yard call, the inmates walk out. It was a little ways to go walk to the yard. So let's say from the unit all the way to walking to the yard from where they go in, and you know where they go in at, let's say it was like a 10 to 15 minute walk, okay? Not even that, y'all. Probably about a 10-minute walk. We'll say a 9-minute walk. And so a lot of the inmates that were trying to get the officer or whatever, or trying to have conversation with that officer or whatever, what they would do is they'll walk to the yard with the officer and, you know, just ask them random questions. Like, it's just like, Officer Baker, you from here? Stuff they not supposed to be asking you. And then it just, if you answer a certain question, it showed them what type of officer you are. And most people knew me by now. Hey, I'm the police, so don't ask me nothing. And so if they will ask me personal questions, they can ask whatever they want to. But as an officer, you can redirect them. Anything personal, I wouldn't advise as an officer. Don't be answering nothing, because sometimes you think it's a friendly conversation. They give them information so they can come to your house, or they can send somebody to your house. Okay, so I don't tell them nothing personal. If they say, you live so what? I ain't never heard that. Why you asking me these questions? What, you trying to come to my house? You gonna send somebody to my house? Cause baby, like I will cut things off. So they be like, Baker, you from here? Cause you sound like a little different. You got a little country swing to you, but you sound a little different too. You got a little on your accent or whatever. I'm from this prison. That's what I would say. I'm from this prison. I was born here in one of the rooms in the back. Like, don't do that, sir. You know you ain't supposed to be asking me nothing personal for real. So that didn't work. So he'd be like, dang, it's hot out here and stuff like that. But like, yeah, it is hot. It's going to be such and such. And he talk about the weather or something like that. But then he'll sneak in something else. So Baker, how long you been working here? But every time it was time to go somewhere like Child Hall or something, when it was time for us to walk down, Dream will always stick himself by me to ask me questions. And every day I'll be like, Dream, you know you ain't supposed to ask me that. Boy, get out my face. Boy, you're not supposed to ask me that. But he never asked me or said anything whether he can get right up or getting written up. And so people start watching that, as well as other correction officers. If they see you talking to a certain person, whether it's a correction officer or inmate, a lot or something like that, they assume that something is going on. And see, like I said, Dream was very attractive. And anybody that had an eyeball could see, whether you were male or female, that he was attractive. He always had the oils on, make sure he smelled good. His hair was always done. He was very neat. Even his clothes, clothes were like, he would press them. I guess there's a certain way that they folded up their clothes, and then they put it under their mattress and they slept on it so it can have creases in it. The ones that were like clean inmates, they want to look nice or whatever, they will press their clothes and stuff like that. So he was always like very, very, very put together. And so they would see him talk to me, and I'm always showing him off, like, drink, go ahead, drink, boom, drink. So one particular day, this officer walked up to me, and I thought it was weird, and she said, you know, Dream be asking about you when you be off, right? And I'm thinking, like, why are you telling me that? Why are you talking to me about an inmate when I'm off? He was like, yeah, he be asking about you when you were off. But I did not realize that in my head, because I was the police, I thought that all officers were straight. Like, I thought all officers were the police. They did their job. They were professionals. But that was not the case. And I remember her saying, well, yeah, he be talking about you when you off or whatever. And he be wanting to know, could he talk to you? And I looked at her like she was foolish. Because I'm like, I know not. I know not. I know you. He walked up to me with no foolishness like this. But I'm like, well, you can tell that inmate that when I'm off, he don't have to think about me. He got you and others to think about, okay? He need to be working on getting his life together so that if the Lord cracked the sky, okay, that he could be ready. Tell him that the next time he get to chatting with you or whatever. But I think it was just to check my temperature to see was I creaking or not or whatever, because she clearly was creaking. And I didn't know that. She later on got walked out. And that's when you get fired and 2 supervisors walk with you all the way out to your car. So I didn't know, you know, it was my first like kind of situation with somebody that was cricket or whatever. And I was like, well, you know, I told her, you know, tell him about Jesus and stuff like that. Tell him don't be thinking about me. And so when I would go into the cafeteria, or they called it the chow hall where the inmates were eating or whatever, this particular day, it was my job to walk around to clear them out. So you walk around if they're eating and they just carrying up. And so you'll go to tables and then the inmates will say different things to you. For the most part, it'll either be about the food, about something that happened on the unit, or they just try to make small talk or whatever. And you be like, go on eat your food so you can get on out of here, because somebody else got to eat. And for the most part, but sometimes they would have conversations or whatever. So I walked by and they was like, Dream in here asking about, and I'm thinking like, this is starting to get out of hand, because every time I go somewhere, people will say, you know, Dream been asking about you. You know, Dream been asking about you. Like, Dream just left because I came in, but Dream had just left. You know, Dream, I'm like, well, why people keep telling me about Dream? You know, Dream like you. I don't know why. Tell them to unlike me. Tell them to like somebody else, because I'm not the one for him. I can't do nothing for him but write him up. Tell him I'm the police. And said, we told him, Baker. We told him. And he told him, he said, hey, put your word in. He telling everybody put his bid. He getting officers. He getting everybody involved. Tell him, tell her I want to talk to her for real. We can do this on the low. And I'm like, boy, it's crazy. Oh, you stupid or you slow. So I knew at this point, I got to get a rap. I got to get a rap on this, because you got dirty officers walking up to me. Now I come in the cafeteria, other inmates is Dream asking about you. Oh, no, I'm finna cuss Mr. Dream out, and he gonna see I'm the police for real. Okay, so anyway, I get back to the unit. I do my, it's time to count. So when you get back after they eat or whatever, you got to count them. Make sure that everybody that's on your roster is there, okay? That's the most important thing to do as an officer, to make sure that your merchandise or everybody supposed to be in there is in there. Because if not, we got to shut down. Can't nobody leave. I'm talking about you, me, and anybody bill cannot leave until everybody's accounted for. And so I go in there, and then I get to his room, and I knock on the door. I say, hey, look, let me talk to you for a minute. I don't know what you got going on. You got inmates, you got staff, you got everybody coming saying that you checking for me and stuff. Uncheck me, okay? I'm a correctional officer, and I'm here to do a job. I ain't here to do you, him, or him, okay? That ain't what this is. Don't be asking for me. Don't be checking for me. None of that, okay? And if I hear anything else about it, I'm going to figure out how to put it on the write-up sheet, okay? And I'm going to get you off my unit. And I told him like that. And then the other member, I told you, man, she was the police. I told you, man, she was the police. He was like, so you going to write me up for liking you? you're damn right. I'm gonna figure it out, okay? I'm gonna figure it out, okay? And so then after that, I was like, just keep it cute. Don't keep whatever you got going on with your feelings, cut them off, let them die down, because this ain't gonna never happen, okay? And so I went on and told him about it. I went on and told him about himself, and he was like, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? I respect your job. And so then after that, he did exactly what I said. He didn't conversate with me. You know, he'll see me and say, what's up, Officer Baker? He listened to what I said, okay? And so even I had talked to my sergeant about the situation. He was like, just cuss that nigga out. The fuck? Just cuss him out. Go ahead, cuss him out. And he'll go on about your business, because you said some inmates gonna do that. They're gonna take a special liking to you. Everybody know you the police, Baker. But I was like, no. And then I kind of told him about, you know, the officer walking up to me, different things. Like, yeah, we watching her ass anyway. We building the case up on her anyway. You stay away from that bitch. You stay away from that. And so I'm like, okay, sorry, but you know, I just wanted to be known, you know, what can I do if this situation go left? I already told him, he already backed up and everything, what, you know. And so Sarge just was like, just keep doing your job, man. They know what's up here. They know, them inmates know. He thought he was pretty Ricky smooth selling. He gonna come in. So what my Sarge did, he would talk to us and be like, don't worry about it. But my sergeant always went behind us, okay? And so he called him, like, we was still in count. They had not cleared the code. So until they cleared the code, there's no movement. The inmates got to stay locked up in their room. And so he asked, you know, 2 of the officers to bring Dream to the office. He was like, matter of fact, we finna check this nigga together. And so he bring him to the office. So once he bring him to the office, he was like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Pretty Ricky? You know? And my sergeant had a demeanor with all the inmates where he can speak his mind. He not finna sugarcoat nothing. He finna tell it what it is. He was like, she already told me what's going on. You got people walking up to her asking questions. Like, this is not the club, nigga. Like, this is not the club, okay? You can't be talking to this officer like this and sending people and stuff. This is not the club. This is not a girl in the street you can send somebody to get the phone number. It ain't gonna work like that, okay? Now, he was like, do I need to take you off my unit? And he was like, no, Sarge, I already told her, you know what I'm saying, I want respect what she got going on. And, you know, I just saw a pretty girl and I try to put my little being in. Can you blame me, Sarge? He was like, no, none of that. None of that. He was like, if I hear anything else about it, I'm going to remove you off and I'm going to write you up and she going to write you up and I'm going to get somebody else and you going to have 3 pending, okay? And we going to sit you back there in the hole for a while, okay? No more. Whatever you got going on, in it and did it today. And he was like, I got you, Sarge. And then, you know, they took him back to the unit. And after that, no more checking for me, nothing. If he saw me, he did speak. But after that, I didn't have no more run-ins with him. You know, I didn't have no more run-ins. So they told us that we would have to start doing, which we was supposed to already, but things were getting found in the prison and stuff like that. And we would, some officers were getting threats, like basically, sometimes inmates will write a note or something and leave it in somebody's bag or something you left on, or people were getting threats, or they called them hits on their lives or whatever. So they told us that we're gonna have to start tightening up on the rounds, because we got to make sure we're on point with finding shanks, drugs, whatever. So they told us every day we had to commence 5 searches, okay? 5 searches we had to do every day. Like, we had to, and we had to document them, okay? What room we searched, who we searched, what did we find, all that, we had to do that. So I was cool with it. I'm like, I love a good search, you know, and I was respectful, okay? If I came and I searched your room and you were respectful, I will leave your stuff how I found it, okay? They'll say, Baker, even put it back nicer, okay? I will leave it. The moment you disrespect me, I didn't care nothing about you or your stuff, okay? And that was just, and that was very rare. But every now and then, people will be disrespectful. And so, on the list, sometimes the sergeant will give us a list, sometimes they won't. So, on this particular list, I had to search Dream Room. Okay? So, I'm searching Dream Room, I'm searching Dream Room, I'm searching Dream. And so, basically, before we commence to search Dream Room, we had to go up to Dream and say, hey, we're going to search a room. And the officers, we basically handcuffed them in the back, sit them in a chair, and our officer go inside the room and search, and the officer stand beside the inmate or whatever, just in case the inmate get upset and lunges in the room at the officer. Somebody had to sit out there, and also to protect them, because if we had other inmates out, which when you search, sometimes some inmates was out, but they can't protect themselves if their arms back there. So sometimes we would do the searches and some of the inmates will be out. So the officer had to stay there to protect the inmate. And so anyway, I had to go in the room and I'm searching or whatever. And so when I'm searching, I'm doing everything. I'm looking under everything. I'm looking to see what I can find. I'm looking through pillowcases. I'm looking through under everything. And so I'm searching. So then he started doing all this smooth talking again. And so I've learned in the past, anytime somebody get to talking to you a lot, you're close to finding something they don't want you to find, okay? So I'm looking. Then I find a shade. And then he was like, Becky, you do not have to tell them this. So if you find a weapon, drugs, or something like that, they'll be in trouble. They're going to get rolled up and they're going to be thrown in the hole. Well, not thrown in the hole, placed in the hole for a long time, okay? Depending on each thing you find has a different amount of days that they are found guilty for and they're in the hole. Sometimes it could be 180 days. Sometimes it can be 120, sometimes it can be 60 days, just depending on what it is. And if it was a large amount of drugs, they do street charges, which they can be charged like in court instead of the court inside the or they have like a court inside the prison as well. So the inside the prison and like street charges. So depending on what amount that you find or whatever. So basically I'm searching, I find a shame. Boom. Like, Becky, you ain't got to do this. You can act like you didn't see this, or you could say you found it in a comment area. He just saying all this. I'm like, look, I told you I got to do my job. If I got to do my job, and he's like, well, Baker, man, you need to go ahead. You need to get out my room because you're gonna find some other stuff. And so anytime we find anything, they go ahead and lock them up. So I go ahead and hit the walkie, and I say, Sarge, I found a shanking dream room. Or I found a shank, and we'll say what the room is. So let's say if he lived in C25, and C25, I found a shank. And so the Sarge walked down there, and he was like, okay, go ahead and lock him up. Go ahead and take him to the hole. So yes, you can be locked up inside a prison. You can get locked up twice, okay? And nobody really want to go to a hole because you couldn't hardly do nothing like that, and you were locked down for 23 hours a day. Nobody want to go back there for real, okay? So anyway, we get to searching, because now that he gone, I can do a detailed search now. And so when I would do a detailed search, I would lock myself in the room. And I'm going through everything. I done found drugs. I done found marijuana, Mary Jane, that ooh-wee. I done found that. Found a loud pant. So I done found that. And I was like, well, daggone, if I keep searching, what I'm going to find? So then under the bed, there was tape, like a whole bunch of letters. Like they were just taped on the bottom of his bunk. And I'm like, why do he got letters taped on the bottom of his bunk? And so when I'm looking, so I take one letter down, and it's to Tiny. Now remember, Tiny is the yes girl that's in the blog, okay? Yes, the yes email. Flip. Okay, that's in there, right? And you remember Dream is the pretty Ricky boy, the swagged out, yeah, what's up, Miss Baker? And why you got letters from Tiny in here? So, I started reading, okay? So before you know it, two of my friends come, two more correction officers, and they helping me. Baby, you want me to help you room? I'm like, yes, girl, come on in here. Come on in here and see what I done found. We done shut the door. We all three of us in the room together. Door shit. Because I would lock the door because inmates would be watching you. They'd be walking by trying to be noticed, trying to see you bent over and all this stuff, trying to catch you bent over. If you look across, some of them be trying to jack on you where they be doing like this. You look up, they in their room doing like, shit to do. Then you can't see too much. And then sometimes I would even cover the window so they couldn't even see in. But we in there, and I'm like, girl, read it. So I'm sitting there reading. It was like if I had a good note there reading it. And it said, Dear Tiny, I've never been with a man before. Oh my God, I was so scared. Thank you for cuddling with me last night. Oh, what? And I was just reading, and every note was just juicy. I was like, girl, read this. I'm like, girl, read it. Because I'm reading, Because the man got the notes nimble too. And I'm just reading them back to back. I'm reading all this. Now we're going to return these notes back to him so he can know that I done take them. And I done read them, okay? And then Sonny will write back. It was like, it's okay. I know it hurts the first time, but you'll get used to it. I'm like, say ain't so. Not you, not Dream, not Dreezy Dream. Like, what in the world? And he was like, I tried that oil that you told me, and it helped with the pain. And I'm like, what? You see why you be a real correction officer? You don't be dipping and dodging, because this is what you was going to bring home. This what you was going to bring home with your girl. Wow. I was like, That's why I been telling y'all. Now, the same 2-1, they went in the hall, like, ooh, he fine. He this. You still think he fine? He still fine. Yeah, but he still fine. I was like, So we in there reading, and it just, oh my God. Jesus. And I'm talking about the letter just got juicier and juicier and juicier. And then it looked like he was like, he got in an altercation, because I'm reading. And he was like, look, I can't keep protecting you. And he was just telling him, Dream was just telling him, I can't keep protecting you, because every time you get into it with somebody, if I keep protecting you, the boys are going to find out, And I'm reading the note. The boys are going to find out that we got something going on. And then Tiny right back, like, they already know we got something going on. You sliding in my room every night. What you going to keep doing? What you going to keep saying while you in my room? You in my room almost every night laying with me. He was like, but we have the blinds up. They don't know what we doing in there. He was like, they're not stupid. And I'm thinking like, Dream was a little, I think. Because what? Why would you be in a room with a man with a door closed? And that goes for the officer too. What was y'all doing that they had enough time to go in a room? Like, was y'all not doing your rounds? Because every time they were doing it, the letters were late and they were timed. They were like old school, like 4:30 in the morning. We did such and such at, I can't believe at 5 o'clock in the morning we did this and that and that and that. Oh my God, I can't believe we brought it in the morning like this. So it was like in the morning time. So I'm pretty sure they probably sleep. But I don't know for factual. But I just know won't nobody doing no rounds because they was up laid up. That's all I can say. And the letters just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And he was just thanking him for blowing his back out, relieving his stress. And I said, oh God, Jesus, take the wheel, Lord, take the wheel. And I couldn't believe it. I was in there like, oh my Jesus, oh Lord, oh good God. Okay, and that's how I was in there. I couldn't believe it because he did not have, to me, want nothing about him that said, hi, I'm bi or I like males. It was just always he would get overly mad. And I see why you mad, honey. I see why you mad. You ain't want nobody to know your little secret. But anyway, I don't know. But anyway, I found the letters. And so then when we had to take them the inventory, I went back and Dream started looking at me like, I wonder, do she know? Do she know? He was like, Baker, did you pack up all my stuff? I packed up all your stuff. Did you take in my stuff? Nope, I didn't take anything. You had receipts for everything, all your stuff in there. Baker, did you read my stuff? I said, I sure did. He's like, Baker, let me talk to you for a second. We ain't got nothing to talk about. I'm not your type. And that was my go-to. Anytime the inmates had something going on, but you're not my type. We ain't got nothing to talk about, right? And I'm like, no, Baker, I need to explain. And I'm like, okay, go ahead and explain, honey. Go ahead and explain. He told me something, man. I said, well, I guess that's what you got to say. He was like, man. I'm like, okay, Dream. Well, it's been nice, Don't worry about it. I'm not going to tell, but I'm not the only one that searched your room. So I'm just say that. I won't the only one that read your stuff, okay? He was like, Baker, if you saw them letters, you should just put them on hide them. Boy, I didn't know what them letters were. And so he was like, damn, Baker, they gonna find out. Ooh. I said, sir, reading your letters, they already know. People ain't stupid. They put 2 and 2, 3 together. They not stupid. They not stupid as you think they is. He was like, well, yeah, a lot of people mind their business though, and it won't every night. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to talk about it. But anyway, all your stuff is in your little baggie, and I went on about my business. So he stayed in the hole for a minute, y'all. I'm talking about, He did 180 days, and then his time started back over, and he had to do 120 days, and then he came back on the unit, and then he kept getting in fights because the sister girls that I was saying, the shims or the sister girls is what we call them. They were arguing over him. Once it got out that he was with it, okay, everybody wanted a piece of little dream. They wanted a piece, okay, so they were fighting over it. And he was like, man, ain't nobody fucking gay. You know what I'm saying? He held it. Ain't nobody fucking gay. I don't know why in the world y'all fighting on me. I don't want none of y'all. I don't want none of y'all. And they were like, you sure didn't want Tiny. You sure didn't want Tiny. You know, it was like, man, fuck her too, man. Fuck her too. I don't want her neither. You know, I don't want her neither. And then before you know it, he ended up transferring out. I guess he got with his case manager and said that, hey, he needed too much going on in his prison. And he ended up transferring out. But y'all, that is the story of prison love, baby. So y'all men that be locked up for years and years, sometimes they be gay, but I stay. Anyway, I hope that y'all enjoyed this story. Thank you for clicking play. If you can do me a big favor, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead, hit that like button, and baby, drop me some hearts in the comment. Love you so much for clicking play. I will see y'all guys on the next video. Bye, Bessie. Bye. Thank you so much for watching.